quickly, someone tell me, how many things does the Rio Grande Valley produce today? Please, hurry. Sorry to produce one thing, come on, hurry. Anybody? Fruits? I mean, oranges and grapefruit. Cotton, okay? Onions. Okay. Well, Warren Buffett, and he's a pretty smart guy because he got a lot of money. He can prove he's a smart guy because he made a lot of money. He said if your economy doesn't produce anything, you've got a very weak economy. Natural came over here and talked to you about the jobs that the Rio Grande Valley has. They're in 3 areas. She was right. Government, healthcare, and retail. Ask Mike Willis, who gives the statistics out every month, by county and by all kinds of different stuff. Okay. So let's look at those. Let's look at those 3. If colleges and school districts and state governments and federal governments, the government has less money, what are the probability of those industries growing if they have less money? Okay. Ask any healthcare provider in the Rio Grande Valley how much of healthcare comes from the Medicaid and Medicare program. Do we have any health care people here? Well, I'm going to tell you it's close to 90%. We have a doctor here, well, but you're in a different practice. John Gurley, great orthodontist, great friend. But you go to anybody else that's in healthcare, the hospitals or anybody, they're going to tell you that 90% or close to 90% of their revenues for providing services in the Rio Grande Valley come from the Medicaid program, which is the program for the poor, and Medicare, which is the program for the elderly. Okay? Now, if you call Susan Combs, who's a state controller, she put me in some advisory board one time, so I received a lot of information from her. And there's a chart that she has. And the chart is Texas need for Medicare services. It was in red, and it went sky high. Sandra, you've probably seen that one, okay? It's going sky high. What is that telling us, ladies and gentlemen? It's telling us that Texas is getting poorer. Well, of course I believe it now. I just showed you the statistics of where the growth came from, and the educational attainment, and the household income. Well, no wonder our needs are going sky high. Rick Perry said, no, government, don't send me any more money for the Medicare program because you're not sending me 100%, you're only sending me, what is it, 60%, Senator? 90%.
100% first 3 years, 90.
No, okay. But on the regular Medicare, that was for the new people. On the old program, was it 60-40? At least that's the Fed sends 60% and Texas has to put 40. Well, Texas, being a conservative state, says, hey, wait a minute. Where am I going to get this my 40%? So I don't want this money because where am I going to get my 40%? Okay. Well, but if Texas is getting poorer, then how are these people going to live? How are these people going to live? So, ladies and gentlemen, I am here because I want to beg all of you to support the effort of investing in educating our people. Because the best economic development tool that we have, the best insurance policy, the best investment that we have is educating ourselves. It's a tried and proven fact. Korea and other countries that have invested in education is tried and proven. The gap between high school and college for income is widening every year. It's getting more and more and more. So if 42% of Hispanic males don't even have a high school education, and they're the largest growing segment of our population, under any definition of progress, we can't say that's progress.
Mayor, first I want to thank you very much because you always show us a different perspective of things and put things in a very good perspective for all of us to understand, and for all your hard work that a lot of people don't even know. But one of the major questions that I have for you is when you describe the third and a third and a third, the retail sector has always been the part of McAllen that has really kept us thriving. Now we have Walmarts and Targets and all of the major chains, which have in all the border areas of all the cities that are neighboring and encroaching into the city of McAllen. Therefore, our sales tax revenues, therefore our ability to grow becomes less and less. Our small businesses are having a harder time. As you described, Mexico, like we always talk about, is having a harder time coming over here to shop. Our banks are having a harder time because they can't get the depositories into the bank because of the limits. So my question is how do we think outside the box, and what can our city do in order to really survive the storm? And what can we actually do to look at the future? You know, there's a saying in retail is that when the rest of the country was having economic times, we would sneeze. But when Mexico was having problems, we'd have pneumonia. Well, now we're starting to have pneumonia all the way around, and we're trying to figure out how to survive it. But I haven't heard the type of dialogues that we're starting to have right now, really on the bigger level, which is really important because those of us who invest in our city and who are paying taxes in our city want to know, how can we survive the storm?
I think it's a very appropriate question, Monica, and I'm going to have to decline to answer it. We have a city government that's in place that's looking into all those things, and I don't want to encroach on what they're doing. But this is a series that Fortuna McAllen is starting, to find answers and solutions. I have some ideas that I would share with people. And I'll throw one out just real quick, and that is, what are the odds? When you go to Las Vegas, or you're doing anything where there's odds, okay? What are the highest probability of success, okay? So when you're going to venture into a business or something, what is the highest probability of success? Well, here the retail in the Rio Grande Valley, as you know, is discount retail. And discount retail customers are very predictable. And they don't go very far. They don't go very far for their goods and products. So what you're seeing here in the Rio Grande Valley is the emergence of our cities throughout the Rio Grande Valley. What FAR didn't have, 5 years ago, it has now. So a lot of the cities are taking back what they lost to McAllen. I think you would agree with that, okay? Because why is somebody from Edinburgh going to come over here shop at H-E-B when they have an H-E-B in Edinburgh? So we have to think how and apply the science of business. And the science of business is if you know the number of households, you know their income, you can precisely know where they're going to spend their money, because we're consumers or creatures of habit. So if you look at those leakage studies, they're called leakage studies, then find out where the leakage is, and that's where your opportunity is. That's where communities need to look at, as opposed to guessing.